What is going on? You are watching and, of course, listening to Tags Live, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the live edition, where we're here every Wednesday night on the Crowdcast platform. I am your host, Stevie V. It's Wednesday, 9 o'clock, sitting alongside Kodi, Maurice, Doggette. How the hell you doing?
Hello, darling. I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
Doing really well. It was a gorgeous day,
Right?
very spring. I was out and about for a little while before prepping for this show, and I just loved it. I said in my little email newsletter send out, which many of you can get, it just gives you a reminder for it. This show, and if there's any news updates, go to tagspodcast.com and hit newsletter. And when you do, we'll get your email and you'll get our Wednesday newsletter. It really just updates you on this show. And on there, I said, with the weather being so gorgeous and lovely, comes a lot of eye candy. And I saw a lot on the streets today, and that's why I love New York City. And yeah, absolutely. Very fun, very cool. Little programming note, I just wanted to let everybody know that if you watched last week or you were wondering where episode 658 was, kind of skipped one. We recorded it with David Wichman about his brand new book, The Four Rooms, last Wednesday. And there was a glitch in how we obtained the video version and the audio version. And then we had the long weekend due to Easter and Passover. And so anyways, it was recovered finally. That episode 658 with David Wichman, talking about his brand new book, The Four Rooms, will be out tomorrow, as well as this episode 660. So both episodes, don't be confused, but they will both be out tomorrow, and you definitely want to check that out. We mentioned we're
double penetrating the girls this week.
We are double
goodness.
Penetrating tomorrow.
I love a good tag
Thursday. Team. Absolutely. So hi, we are live. I see some hi James. Hello Diego, my fiance, and I see some more people trickling in. So hello. We love it when you talk back or when you weigh in on a hot topic that we're talking about. And if you listen to episode 659, we were talking about the Senate Twink. And I'll let you listen to that episode if you haven't already, if you know what I'm talking about. Basically, it was the Senate Twink referred to a guy that worked under a senator and essentially had sex on the Senate floor. I'll let you listen to the rest of it because I don't want to break down the same story because we really delved right into it. But Dan watched that episode, listened to that episode, and said, "Oh my God, not the bottom shaming defense. That's the gays get out of jail free card. It's because you were the one on camera, girl. Nobody saw the top." Because that was Senate Twink was basically saying, who's now moved to Australia, says that, well, he takes full responsibility for his actions and he's no longer welcome to be working in DC. Nobody will hire him anymore. That essentially he also thought that there was a little bit of bottom shaming going on because nobody pointed out to the person that was fucking him. But according to Dan, it was he that was the only one that was really on camera and that released the tape. So, yeah, I kind of agree with Dan that I don't think it was bottom shaming. And, yeah. Any thoughts on that?
I mean, I said that originally. So thank you, Dan, for being on my side. And I did go back and look at the tapes and of how it got released. And apparently it was released to like a Telegram group on Telegram, and then it was disseminated from there. So maybe he didn't release it globally, but it was released to a certain small group of people. So I said what I said, and I think I stand by my opinion from last Monday.
Yeah, if you want to hear the whole full breakdown, if you haven't heard it yet, it's episode 659 of Tags Podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. Okay, well, we've got to get into a ton of hot topics, including, I was watching this video that is by Ricky Cornish. Many of you know Ricky Cornish, who works for Pride.com. He's always on camera interviewing somebody within our LGBTQ universe, everybody from people on TV to drag race superstars. He was recently on the red carpet for the Gay VN Awards, which are the adult Video Awards, and he was talking to Max Lord. Max Lord is a adult performer and has really built up a strong fan base. He has many viral clips, a lot of adult films out there, and basically Ricky asked him the question after he talked to him about being at the Gay VN Awards, and he looked really good. He said back in August of last year, at 26 years old, he actually had, get this, a heart attack. And it really, he was in great spirits though. He was on the red carpet. He says, basically, I'm not an alcoholic, but I go to my doctor and get alcohol every day. And that doctor was Don Julio. Apparently that was his vice. He joked, he says, maybe alcohol is not actually worth it. Maybe it's not. He also said, I have some, he's given up booze, I guess, for now. And he seemed to be doing really well. That's the only information we got. But my God, 26 and having a heart attack and being rushed to the hospital. Thank God he's okay and lived to tell about it. But what are your thoughts? I mean, do you believe that this was just alcohol?
That's a nice way to start the questioning. I love. Wow. I'm not quite sure. I was going to come on here and play hardball, but you know what? Max Lord is also the person that takes 10 diarrhea pills, eats McDonald's, and then bottoms in his scenes. So
wow.
I can't say that I think that he's taking very good care of his body, but I don't wish a heart attack on anybody. And you know, like the Pope, I be blessing folks. So I do think, rest in peace, Senor. I hope he gets his life in order. I think he's made some poor decisions, and porn is not one of them. I just want to be clear on that, because I do think, you know, sex work is work, and I'm here for it, and it feeds me. So I'm here for all of it. So, but I think that as far as his bodily health is concerned, it's something that he should probably step up for, and it sounds like he's doing that. So I really hope the best for him, and I really just hope that he gets everything in order. What do you think, that it's just alcohol?
No, I mean, he didn't really give us a whole lot other than, and he was joking around even when he said, I go to my doctor, my doctor's Don Julio. So he did say that he is not an alcoholic, but he's giving up alcohol. So I don't know. That's the only details we got. That's all he's giving us. So maybe it was a binge drink fest that led him down the path. Maybe he has a weak heart, and he's learned that alcohol is not right for him. Who knows? But Doug, watching us live, says, my father was 23 when he had a heart attack. He will soon be 70. And if you remember, there was that fitness guru guy that, I forget his full name, but he was on TV for The Biggest Loser and was gay.
Bob
and
something.
Bob, yeah, thank you.
I think it's Harper, Bob Harper.
Bob Harper. And Bob I used to see at Crunch Fitness in WeHo all the time, instructing all the gays and everybody on spinning class. And he had a heart attack early on as well, too. And that was a fitness instructor. I've also known other fitness people that one died, and it was like something that was undetected in this trainer. So you never really know what's going on, but you just think sometimes that when you're that age, I didn't really go to the doctor a whole lot when I go now, and we talk a lot about that now. I'm in my 50s, and Lincoln talks about it, and you as well at times. Yeah. So I mean, we're just glad he's doing well and that he is back in business, and by that we mean all his adult content. So great news on Max Lord. Moving on to somebody that is entering and has entered OnlyFans and adult film content is Real Housewives producer Patrick McDonald. Look him up, Patrick McDonald. He's very sexy. Some of you may remember him. He was on a short-lived reality TV show on, I forget what network it was, but basically it was on Logo, and it was called Fire Island, and it was basically followed all these guys on a reality show that was kind of like The Housewives for a season, and they paired up all these people. It was actually produced by Oh God, who produced it? Because it was somebody that was really famous that produced this couple that the morning show. Anyway, that's not even important. The most important part, though, on this is he has been producing housewife shows, L.A., Beverly Hills, Atlanta, and when he talks in this video that essentially when he did Fire Island, he was really high the entire time he filmed that. When the show ended, he ended up losing everything and was homeless and had to really check himself into rehab. But when he came out, he really had nothing, and he was just working at a grocery store at a checkout line, and somebody offered him a role to work behind the scenes for one of the housewives. He took it, and it changed his life. He got promoted every single year in those 5 years to associate producer, to field producer, and really went up the ranks. In fact, many of the faces that you know on Bravo all loved working with him. And if you know anything about those types of shows, they all work with certain producers, and not everybody they want to work with or open up to. And he had a knack for it, and he was really thriving. He loves Bravo. And then one season after he started his OnlyFans, he started to not get any calls for any upcoming seasons. And so he talks really openly about that. He also talks about the toxic side of shows like Bravo, and from behind the scenes to the cast and what they have to go through, and working long hours and really trying to get that story, which, many of us know and heard stories of that kind of thing. I can only imagine. But he is doing really well now as an adult content creator. Do you feel for him at all for not being able to? Because we talked a little bit about this on previous shows. We talked about how gay adult performers often can't seem to make that parlay. He points out that there's plenty of Bravo celebrities that have OnlyFans pages, and they're fine. Denise Richards is one of them. She's not getting gangbangs like you said he is. Brandy Glanville. We'll talk about that in a second. But we talked about Raheem Shabazz, who was the bartender on Watch What Happens Live recently, and how allegedly Andy Cohen is being, hearing from executives on, is he pushing it too far?
Yeah.
Pushing this gay adult content down the rest of the universe's throat. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, first of all, let's talk about the gangbang. He is so hot, and I rewatched that gangbang so many times, and I do not rewatch porn. Once it's once I watch it, I'm like not turned on by it anymore. But this one is really good, so I need to check out his OnlyFans, because I mean, who doesn't want to support somebody who just lost their job? I think I'm just doing the most kindest thing for this person. So yeah, I want to help him out. Thank you, sir. But I do agree with you. I think that this is clearly, for me at least, it's something that's kind of homophobic, for lack of a better word. I do think that as far as the Raheem Shabazz situation was, I think that lends itself to kind of calling out this to what it is, because Raheem, was on there and he didn't do anything lascivious as far as I know. And I do think that it just trickled down that Patrick was out there creating this content, and the powers that be didn't like it. They didn't want to be associated with anything too sexual. So I think that is where it all stems from. So I don't see anything wrong with him calling out this hypocrisy, because if the ladies can do it on the show, then why can't he do it?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. And I think, in this particular case, I just think he didn't do anything wrong. I think that people found out about it behind the scenes. I remember watching I think it was Vanderpump Rules, as when I was watching that up until the end of its season, and they were pulling in some of the producers. You could just see them because there were so much drama, and you could see them on some of the episodes. And I remember I was like, who is that guy? And this was before we knew his name Patrick, or because he looks very different. If you watch
Yes.
Fire Island back in
Yep.
the day, this reality show that we're talking about, to where I'm going to show him right now because I think I have the picture here on what he looks like today. This is him now on what he
Daddy.
looks like. He did not look like this at all. He was very skinny, very wafy. Just a
Blonde
totally
hair.
different look than this. And
Oh my God,
and I
he's a
remember
dream.
thinking, yeah, I mean,
You
he's
shocked me with
immense.
this.
Well, I wanted people that are watching us live to know who we're talking about, and this was it came up, and so yeah, so this is who we're talking about. But I think he's doing really well in OnlyFans, and he's moving forward, and he's out of that toxic environment now, and so good for him. So we wish him well, and
Yes. Well, can I just
Patrick
tell you one more
McDonald,
thing?
yeah.
Yeah, I think that he's kind of spot on about the whole, as far as like the producers and how they run them ragged, and then they have all these biceps. There was this one producer of a reality show. I'm not quite sure what it was, but he used to hit me up on a dating site, quote unquote, and he would always be just zooted out of his mind as far as like extracurricular activities were concerned. So I just from that one instance and him saying this aloud, I think that has lent itself to me, but like completely wholehearted believing him, because it was, I'm telling you, this man would say some crazy things to me, and I was like, okay, all right, sir, good night to you. But he would do it all the time. So
yeah,
I don't understand
Hollywood,
it.
I'm not surprised at all of any of this behavior. And, you know, and then back to Patrick, I think, you know, this was a really good gig for him and really elevated him back into a career that he was very passionate about. He's really not bitter, and other than he wish he could probably still have his job a little bit, or be picking and choosing when he wants to work, but not getting that call. And we all know why. It's because of his adult content. We seem to always have a problem with that. And so, yeah, let us know what you think on that situation, and we will move on. Okay, well, recently we were going to do this story the other day about Drag Race winner Venus. She won Canada's Drag Race. And did you watch the season, Kodi?
I did, but I don't remember Venus.
She's season 4 winner. I'm not sure what season they're on, but she won. Venus was the winner of it. And she was recently in one of my favorite places that I talk about all the time, Puerto Vallarta. Was out and about last Sunday when she claimed, she showed pictures of herself bruised up, and she said that actually police had not only stole $1,000 of her money, but held her captive, handcuffed her, strangled her, and laughed and ridiculed her, and then ultimately threw her in an alleyway somewhere. She said at the time that the hotel, where the Almar, which is one of the premier gay hotels in Puerto Vallarta, weren't helping them at the time. They said that she stiffed the taxi cab, but then ultimately they were helping her figure it out. Well, that's what we were going to report on, and I'm glad we skipped that story. Something in my spider universe told me, my spider senses said, don't do the story just yet, and I'm glad I waited, because now it's come out that that story may have been actually false. She actually went on to her Instagram to say, hi, everyone. I want to take a moment and provide some clarity to my earlier post. She said that basically I shared concerns about my treatment at the hands of local police department after blacking out unexpectedly. When I came to my lack of clear memories combined with the status of my physical injuries led me to believe that something serious had happened while I was detained. Since then, I have had the opportunity to work close with reps from the authorities, local advocacy groups such as Vallarta Gay Community Center, and the incredible team at the Almar Resort to better understand the events of that night. And through that process, I've come to learn additional context and recognize that my initial response was made prematurely, without the right facts. It was made clear to me that I was involved in an altercation. However, I can confirm that this occurred prior to any police involvement and is not the result of wrongful abduction or brutality by authorities. She basically goes on to say that everybody in Puerto Vallarta, from the hotel and these community services, are really working with her to kind of, I guess, piece back what really happened. But kind of sounds like she made it up. And you were saying in our meeting that she blacked out, like, and then blaming authorities. And before you
The
go,
police.
yeah. And while I had a problem with, and now that we know the truth, we all know that Mexico isn't perfect by any means, but Puerto Vallarta is also not excluded either. Nowhere is, but it really is a gay mecca that I love to go to. And I always feel so safe. And to really make those claims against the police, only to find out that you blacked out and that was not true at all, puts a really bad stigma on the authorities in Puerto Vallarta, in a place that really is always welcoming, that celebrates Pride every year. Really, it feels like Pride every day in Puerto Vallarta, to be honest.
Girl.
And like I said, it's not perfect. We're going to tell a story just right after this that isn't perfect, about a hotel that refused to have this couple get married. But when you hear this and Venus's statements, retracting them, what do you say?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think that also by them being such a public figure and having this stigma on Puerto Vallarta in general, I don't think that that's something that is responsible for Venus to be doing. Also,
Yeah.
girl, we're still piecing together the puzzles, and you put us in to this conversation. So we need to know what the tea is. We need to know what exactly happened. What have you got? You need to be disseminating this information because I want to know, because I didn't involve myself. You involved us by posting on your Instagram. And until it's cleared up, I'm going to be looking at you sideways. So please give us whatever you are thinking. But also, do you have something to say on the story? Because I have a little piece.
Go.
So
I said my thoughts on it.
Okay, fabulous. So, have you ever seen Broken Down Palace with Claire Danes? It's the one
No, I
about
love Claire Danes.
they get arrested in Thailand, and that they go to prison. It's a mess, girl. I haven't seen it either, but just the previews scared me to death. So I never want to go to jail in a foreign country. You need to be on your P's and Q's when you are visiting these countries, because they will take you to jail and bad things will happen to you, and you don't have the extent. I'm glad that she came out safe. I'm glad that she is here and with us and able to piece together what happened, but be responsible at the end of the day.
Yeah, don't be accusing the police of another country that you don't even live in,
Girl.
that they abducted you, held you practically for ransom, handcuffed you, beat you, left you on the side of the road. I mean, especially a country like
$1,000 from you.
Stole money from you from Mexico and not think that they're not going to come for you. It's like they have a whole different situation going on. I don't want to say the word out there, but I mean, yeah, we're not. I would not.
But
in
you know
a
what?
million years,
I have
just
heard.
make that claim. But you're right. I'll just say one last thing. She's a public figure in many ways. He is in many ways, has a huge platform, won Drag Race Canada, and probably has thousands and thousands of followers. Not a good look to condemn a place that is super welcoming to our LGBTQ community. And so I think we need a little more information at this point, because at this point it seems she's retracting a little bit, probably because she got a lot of pushback, but hasn't really said the entirety. And I think we need a little bit more.
Can I just offer too that word that we don't want to say, that they don't operate in Puerto Vallarta?
I don't know why I don't want to say it. I just don't want to say it.
Me either. I don't want those kind of problems.
I don't want to be anything to do with it.
They don't operate. But from what I understand and what I have heard, because of the touristy and how much money it brings into their situation, they don't bother with Puerto Vallarta. It don't really go down.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. But still, I mean,
still, we're not saying the word. It's okay.
We're not saying that word. And in fact,
I would like to go back, please.
Yes, right. Thank you. You said you want to come visit me there, so soon. Yeah. Let's stay on Puerto Vallarta for a minute. When recently a couple from Canada, staying on Canada as well. Come on, Canada is supposed to be the place that doesn't cause any problems, but this couple didn't really. They actually claim that the Sheraton, and if you know anything about Puerto Vallarta, the Sheraton is one of those long-standing hotels that's a huge, it's like a campus. And now there's other hotels, and people can stay in places like Nayarit if you really want that huge hotel experience. Sheraton also has like a convention center. So when conventions come into town, that's often where it's at. I often joke, I said in my meeting that we drive by there when we're going into the old town from where I'm at in Versailles. And from the back end, it looks like a jail to me. It's just beige and no windows. I'm sure it's lovely on the other side, but you decide if you want to go there. But a gay couple from Vernon, British Columbia, is basically saying that they had unequal treatment by a Sheraton hotel in Puerto Vallarta during their wedding planning process, raising concerns about the fairness and inclusivity in the hospitality industry. And so basically, Jeremy Alexander and Ryan Sheepwash have been planning their wedding. And when they were talking to people, they basically were given a $72,000 price tag on their upcoming wedding. Now, I'm planning my wedding, and that price tag wouldn't work for us either. But they also needed to put down $36,000 in a deposit. And we're also told they've been reaching out since last year that they couldn't get married until March of 2027 at the earliest because there was too many other weddings happening in between that time. Well, they were a little fishy on this and decided to do some research on their own and had one of their heterosexual friends reach out to plan their potential alleged wedding. Well, honey, they got a $1,700 deposit and could actually plan their wedding in 2026. That just doesn't add up, correct? Well, correct. This story has been going on for a while, and Marriott is the parent company, which I did not know that, of Sheraton. But Josh Reimer, who had a lot of media coverage back in the day 5 years ago because he took Sheraton up to battle when he also was refused to have his same-sex wedding at the same hotel in Puerto Vallarta, the Sheraton. And I listened to his whole thing, and basically he can't believe, because he got a lot of media press at the time. Everybody was interviewing him. All the morning shows were about how awful this was, the injustice. You know, he actually got a lot of free things out of it, including Vakaya, that offered him a honeymoon on one of their upcoming trips. Now, he actually has, because of all the drama and everything else, parted ways with his partner, so he never got married in the first place at the end of the day.
He got a free honeymoon? What's his name again?
I know, right? But he is basically, married already. They're all calling out the Sheraton, and nobody's really getting any answers. But can you believe that in this day and age that, first of all, I would just say that there are so many places to get married in Puerto Vallarta that will welcome you with open arms. From my friends getting married in Nayarit that had probably the most extravagant wedding I think I've ever been to or seen by gays. And it was over in neighboring Nayarit, not even the same state, but close enough. And it was totally same sex, super gay, with drag queens and everything. And that venue totally welcomed them. So if you're on that high level, and I know they probably spent that price I quoted earlier on their wedding or more, or you can do something really simple. And there's all these great venues and restaurants and places. I've seen simple weddings on the beach, at a restaurant in Old Town that is just lovely, and you can do something super simple over there too. And so I don't know, when you hear this and what these couples are going through, would you even want to do it at the Sheraton anymore?
No, that's ridiculous. And it just shows me that homophobia is alive and well, even in a place where we call it the gay Mecca, because it's so welcoming to homosexuals and of all shapes and flavors and gender expressions. So it's really shocking to me that the Sheraton would do this. And because it's really dumbfounding to me, because what business do they have if they like to hold straight couple weddings more than they like to hold gay couple weddings? It's just confounding to me because, like we said before, it's a gay Mecca. So what I think straight couples do go there, but I feel like it's far less than gay couples do. So they're really kind of shooting themselves in the foot. So I really don't understand where all this is coming from. Maybe it is something that we need to take higher up, because I'm not sure if any of the other Sheratons have this homophobic policy.
This one is privately owned, and I mentioned the parent company is Marriott, and the Marriott has spoken out and said that, you know, they would welcome them at one of their properties. And some people have accused perhaps is this taking advantage of our community, knowing that in a place that really makes a lot of money from our community, that are they upselling us so much because they know that potentially they can get it, and then pushing us off to the side because they want to keep this old school mentality of only heterosexuals? Is that what's really going on? I simply say, well, we would report on these types of stories. I would never get married at a place like this because I just think nowadays there's so many other spots that you can get married at that will be welcoming. It's kind of that theory that we have of, do you want your wedding cake or birthday cake made by a bakery that says that they don't want to make LGBTQ cupcakes or cakes? The answer is there's so many bakeries today that would want to make your cake. And to me, food is like from the soul, even a wedding cake or a cake. I do not want somebody that has that. I wouldn't even fight them for it, because I just want somebody to make my cake that has pure love in their heart for our community.
Aww.
And there's so many examples of, we have people that can do that, but
you said no. Fine.
Yeah, fine.
I'll make you cupcakes.
Make me cupcakes.
Okay.
We can have them on the day before the wedding. Yeah.
You won't even, girl. Oh my goodness, that's the last time I do something nice for you and honey. Okay. Oh man.
All right, let's move on to something that we remember. The pandemic, Kodi. Who doesn't remember a show that many of us watched called Tiger King and featured Joe Exotic? And it was this crazy show. Did you watch it?
Never watched a single episode.
Well, I watched it. Carol Baskin, and as a result, Joe Exotic is currently serving a term for animal abuse in jail, as well as allegedly having a part in basically killing somebody, I think was his other crime. He's currently serving 2 counts of attempted murder for hire for trying to kill Big Cat Rescue founder Carol Baskin in 2020, but also 17 counts of animal abuse. And that's a lot. He's serving 21 years, and he has been married, as you say, 3 times. Once to 2 guys. That's how he gets the 3 counts of marriage, because he was married to somebody back in 2001 that died of AIDS, and that's that. Then he married 2. Did he marry 2 guys at the same time? Is that even legal?
2 guys at the same. I have no idea. Maybe they were in what's that place? Missouri? No, wait.
Yeah.
What's the place where you can Utah? I think that's right.
Polygamy. I don't know. Well, now he's met Jorge Marquez, who's 33, and he's in love.
He had another partner after that. I thought this is his 4th marriage.
This could be his 4th, but he's just got married again. Meet Jorge Marquez. He's 33. His words: he is so amazing and is from Mexico. Now the quest of getting married. So yeah, they're not married yet. Both of them are in prison, and he's trying to get him asylum as well. But they tried to file a marriage to get their marriage license, and I don't know if they have that yet, but they want to get married. There's a picture of them that I would love to put in there too, but I don't think I have it. You can put it in there if you find it. But essentially it's AI generated, because it shows them like in a lovely setting, and we all know that they're behind bars. Here's the question that we find really interesting. What's this life going to really be like? Because we did the math, and they are not going to be out. Joe Exotic still has about 18 years to serve. And when we looked at Jorge Marquez, he's supposed to be getting out this year. Why do you think they got married, and what's this going to look like? Is Joe Exotic going to be able to help him with asylum or get him? I mean, what is this about?
So first of all, I would address Joe Exotic had how many husbands, and I can't even get one. This is ridiculous to me. And he's getting married in prison. Oh my
Is he
goodness.
our gay Elizabeth Taylor? What is going
He might be.
on? Yeah.
I really am. I'm behind on the curve. I really think that I need to step up my
I
game
know.
and
I'm
just
barely
marry.
getting married this year at 50.
You are though. Yeah, I get it. I
It
get
will
it.
be my
But
only marriage. Thank you very
that's
much.
right. See, that's
Yeah.
what it is. And that's what it is. I'm going to claim that it's going to be the right one at the right
Thank
time. And then
you.
boom. That's
Yeah,
right.
you still got time if you're waiting for like to get to my age. You still got plenty of time, girl.
Not plenty. It's like 2 years, honey. Okay. But yeah, I think that it's something that's okay. I love love, and I'm glad that they're doing this. I'm glad that they found each other, and I hope that everything works out for them. I think that maybe it was rushed because he is from Mexico, and there are things that that are in place now that are he could possibly get deported. So I think that this marriage was something that they did in order to keep him here. So
Yeah,
yeah,
but
I think
I
that's
don't
kind of
know.
what it boils down to.
Listen, under this administration, good luck right
Girl,
now. You're in jail, so they don't
girl.
really have a lot of say in a lot of these things. And believe me, I know just in my own case, just trying to get these certificates and everything, not the easiest process. And when
Yeah.
you're not in jail, so let alone like if you are, but love is love.
Love is
And
love. And I got the picture too, if we want to hold on
yeah, you
2
want to just show it
seconds.
really quickly,
I
just
kind of do.
because it's kind of a funny picture that they had generated. They must have somebody on the outside that, I mean, he's Joe Exotic, so it follows his life trajectory, I have to say. I mean, it's very soap opera like, it's very
Oh my gosh.
unbelievable. And he's definitely falling under that path. Do you got the picture there? Because I want to move on.
I did, but now I'm trying to get it in again. Oh, well, you know what? Never
Okay.
mind.
Well,
I tried.
I'll put this up on, thank you for trying. I'll put this up on tagspodcast.com and reference episode 660. This would be a really good time to tell you about our Tags Patreon community. And, you can always head over there and grab a free tier where we post behind the scenes coverage that you won't get on any of our other social media platforms. But you can also grab a tier or you can buy individual posts. And we have things like commercial free. And we have things like next week, we have a brand new bonus episode coming out that is exclusive to our Patreon Tags community. And we're having some new perks coming your way. So you can head over there. And when you do, you should know that you are supporting the show you've come to know and love. And that is Tags Podcast. So do us a favor and head over to patreon.com/Tags Podcast. Okay, well, Kodi, before we got on, I was watching one of those Bravo shows, speaking of Bravo, and I couldn't help
heard
it.
something.
Yeah, I was like doing my hair. I got my hair cut today, and it was like getting ready for this show. And they were talking, Summer House was the show, and it's the show where they get together every summer, and they're in the, not where we go to, but they're in the Hamptons, and they rent this house, and it's all these heterosexuals in their late 20s, early 30s, late 30s as well, because they're getting a little bit older. The show's been on for a while. And one of the guys who's Latino, Errol, really, he's very sexy, and he had like a woman over, and apparently he's a newer character on the show, and has already had several women over and was pounding this girl, and it was loud and everybody could hear. The women had more problems of it, of course, than the men, but it got me thinking, is this just kind of a straight thing? Because also in Long Island, in Fire Island, I'm sure you've stayed at a house before. We know what goes on. Do the gays have that much of an issue when we stay in a big house like that and you bring somebody over, or is it just kind of a straight thing?
You know what? I find that when you are in close quarters with somebody and you're sharing a house with somebody, it really just depends on the space. Because if the house is big enough, live your best life, do you. But if the house is a little small, and I've been in a small house and I've been in a big house, and there's definitely a difference. And I have brought people back to the house, and I've also, in the smaller house, we had sex on the deck. So
Yeah, I think we get a little more
it was a
creative.
good time.
Yeah, I mean, I had sex on the rooftop once of this house. We
Ooh.
climbed on the roof, and somebody
Well,
heard
in
us on
Puerto
the roof.
Vallarta.
And this was in Fire Island, and somebody climbed on the rooftop because they heard something up there, and they're like, "What's going on? Is it bears, rats? What is it?" And they saw us, and they're like, "Oh, it's just you guys," and they like let us alone. I've had sex on the bed where two boyfriends, we brought one of the guys home, him and his boyfriend, and we threw the guy, he was passed out, and me and the other boyfriend had sex next to him. He never woke up. That's
Steve.
More Fire Island. I mean, I'm just saying Fire Island is a little bit different than the Hamptons.
No. Well, I was in Puerto Vallarta.
I said yes, and it was great. I say here's my actual theory on all this. Just always be the guest, because if you're the guest, you can do whatever you want. Guest. Let them let them deal with the aftermath of having to deal with a house that frowns on that.
I've discussed this before, and it's always best to be the special guest star. If it's in a house or if it's in a couple, it's the best. But back to having sex on the roof. One time when I was in Puerto Vallarta, I was sharing a room, and there was no walls. It was just two beds, right? So you got to get inventive, like you said. I brought the stripper home. We went up to the roof, which was like a gym type lounging area, and we went to town, honey. He was as loud as he could be, and it was fantastic. So again, get as creative as you can, and sex can happen anywhere.
Absolutely.
Anytime, any place, like Janet says.
Thank you. Definitely. Yeah. Okay. Well, recently there was a TikToker, a blind TikToker, that took to his account to basically say that he likes to hook up at, get this, Home Depot. But his mom knows exactly what he's doing. It's a funny TikTok. I know you saw it, Kodi, where he says, "Mom, can we go to Home Depot?" And she's like, "No, we're not going to Home Depot." He uses a cane, is fully blind in his left eye, and can only see 2 inches away on his right. And he apparently likes to go to Home Depot. Well, this video got over 12 million views. It's hilarious, of him saying, "Oh my God, Nick, you are not going cruising again." His mom told him, cutting off his protest with, "Don't." But Mom, she basically says, "No, you cannot go." I'm not sure if she wanted
cruising.
Yeah, exactly. She knows exactly what. We'll talk a little bit more about his story in a second, but I mean, when I go to, I thought Home Depot was for lesbians to begin with, and number two, I've gone to Home Depot a lot. Just like, I run in there and I've got blinders on. I am just, first of all, I was trying to find the specific screw recently. I know, a screw, and I could not find somebody to help me. Somebody found me. They helped me find this really. It was so specific of a screw, but there was no screwing going on. There was no potential screwing going on. And
you know what?
I've gone in Puerto Vallarta because we've got this condo out there a lot. Have you ever found cruising going on? I mean, I know the gays love to flip houses. Maybe we should put that on the list.
Have I ever found sex in a Home Depot or love in a helpless place, a hopeless place? There we go. Yeah. You know what? I've never been cruising at Home Depot. You know what? I might have to go there. Most of my cruising happens in cruise bars because I know everybody is gay there and it makes me feel safer. But, you know, if everybody's doing it, I might as well go there and share in the experience, because apparently it's an attraction for gay men. But you know what? I find that if you go to Home Depot and you are cruising for people, then you're going to be finding the handy gays, and those are the gays that you need. So, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I got a handy gay for sure. and yeah, I love it. So, I mean, hey, he went on to say, by the way, his name is Nicholas Quest, Quest. Look him up. after he posted this video last week, 54,000 TikTok followers. He went on to basically tell his story. He's 23. Quote, I'm blind. I'm a blind guy, and I used to go cruising and clubbing quite often. It's a very unique experience to walk when you are both blind and part of the queer community, he says. He explained he was 18 when he graduated, when he created his first Grindr account. I have nothing to lose, he says, but more vision, he quipped. He said, I started meeting men, going out constantly, cruising, clubbing, making new friends. And he explained when his mom eventually found out what he was doing, that she wanted to make sure that he got from point A to point B safe. And that's really sweet, I think. And he implied that she didn't want to rob him of pivotal queer experiences or connecting with his community. Quote, I think when society sees a person with disability, they tend to put them in a box and label them. They don't want to explore. They need to stay safe, stay home. And he basically says, you have a right to have the experiences that you want. And I praise my family for their open mindset. That's really amazing, I think.
It's really sweet.
That
yeah.
He's really putting that out there, that when you see a blind person, when you hear, I know a deaf person that we see at the Eagle several times. It does not stop him. He is cruising all the time, and it does not stop him at all. And it shouldn't stop anybody from, and I think we need more examples of this. We'll continue to talk about them on this show because they are sexual beings just like the rest of us.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, we have to move on to we love giving advice on this show. And you can always ask us for sex and relationship advice. You can go to tagspodcast.com or message us via our handles at the end of this show. We are here for you, solicited or unsolicited. This one comes from Reddit. And they asked the question, should I have sex with a man I'm not at all attracted to just because I like him otherwise? Let me read on and explain. I have had trouble for years meeting anyone in the godforsaken preppy hellhole in which I live in. Oh my goodness, I'm curious. So I finally met this guy who's very nice and very smart, and we overlap a lot politically and culturally. He likes to cuddle with me and call me hun. I'd like to keep him as a friend, but I'm not the least bit attracted to him physically. I hear from gay relationship types that sexual attraction shouldn't matter in a relationship, that if you really like each other, sex should arise organically out of the relationship, but it can't work like that. If I tried to have sex with him, it would only be by closing my eyes and thinking of Sam Elliott. Wow. And I really don't want a relationship like that. It wouldn't be fair to him. What should I do? That's, you know what? I think he kind of answered his question, Kodi. I think that this is a dear friend of his and somebody he needs to continue having in his life. But I think he needs to kind of quit this now and really state that what he really feels, that he wants him to be a dear friend. If he can handle cuddling, great, but they just need to really be friends, because he's going to hurt the other one and think the other one's going to think that he's into him and he's not. And if you have to close your eyes and think of something so early on, like Sam Elliott of all people, wow.
Right? I just Googled him. I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Longtime actor, great actor, but that's a really specific example. And if this person isn't that, then I think you need to find somebody that you are attracted to too. And we all know that, sex could fade throughout the years, but if you're not initially attracted to them and you have to close your eyes, I think you have your answer. What do you say?
There it is. I think you hit the nail on the head. I think that sex is a very important component of a relationship, especially a romantic relationship, I should specify. Sex is not something that you should play with in a romantic relationship. Yes, it waxes and wanes. It definitely is something that there are levels to it. So, but that, like you said, that initial attraction for me and for a lot of people has to be there in order for it to be something that you want to progress in. So I think that he should keep searching, and definitely not let this guy know that he is interested in only a friendship with him.
Yeah, and do it sooner than later because,
Oh yeah.
like I said, you are really leading this person on, and this person probably does have sexual feelings for you. In fact, I'm probably pretty sure that they do, and you
Yeah.
need to let them down gently, but let them know that you really want them in their life. Let them move on and find somebody that they can have that sexual experience with, and find your who do they want? Who are they into? Find
Yeah.
Sam. You find your Sam Elliott.
Yeah, you need to move on too. If you're holding on to this, then you are just blocking your own progression in life as far as finding who you are meant to be with. So yeah, it's out there. Just keep looking.
Yeah. All right. Let's continue giving some more advice. And this one comes, we all have them labeled body issues. They wrote, I just turned 30 and I have body issues before, but could find guys to meet with. Basically, I had body issues before, but could find guys to meet with at least. Now it feels like I need to be this jacked porn star guy to find someone to talk to me. I'm not overweight or something. I just don't have muscles like every other guy. It drives me crazy. Even the guys who look like me seem to be not interested. Long story short, do you guys have any advice how to deal with this? I don't want to be a gym rat just so I can find guys. Gay culture seems to want that and makes me effing depressed. P.S. Some people might think and say, oh, go to the gym, you're lazy, whatever. To them, I say, I do, but I'm not the type of guy who would center his life around the gym. And he had an edit. Guys, I don't find myself unattractive. I just think people find me that way. I know this sounds contradictory, but I don't know how to explain it. And to this, I would say that, yeah, you myself love the gym. And I've been a gym rat for day one. I'm a former gymnast. This is kind of my lifestyle. Diego does not like the gym at all, but he's a hiker and that he found his form. And he also gets like 1,000,000 steps per day. And he finds his own. But he does not want to go to the gym. I don't care that he doesn't want to go to the gym. Not everybody wants to go to the gym. There's a lot of people that don't find that as at all interesting to them. And you should know that not everybody wants to be in a gym. And so, but for those of us that do, great. There is somebody out there like we go to a place here in New York City. We talk about it a lot on this show, the New York Eagle, and there really is sex happening all the time, people meeting each other. Sometimes I met my fiance, and they are of all walks of life, of all age groups, and of all body types. And many go to the gym and many don't. And so I think expand your outreach. If the gym isn't for you, don't even bother. But find another activity, though, that you like. And by all means, find your health mode because the gym isn't the answer to everything. It's, often walking is one of your best exercises. And by the way, right now in the springtime, at least here in the big cities, walking in different neighborhoods, you're going to see a lot of eye candy. You're going to see a lot of skin, all types of skin, all types of body shapes. And that is super sexy and hot to meet somebody on the streets in this time of year. What do you say?
Well, I see his point, honestly. I feel like gay culture can be very wrapped up in the muscle man, things of that nature. Sex sells at the end of the day. And I do think that I definitely see his point. However, like you said, there is somebody out there for him. He doesn't need to discount how and why he's out there trying to make these connections, because I do think that he needs to be looking for people that are checking for him at the end of the day. I say it all the time. And I think that there are people, like you said, people love all types of bodies. There are people that love bears. There are people that love a little bit of, pleasantly plump. There are muscle people that love muscles. I'm one of those people. And that's honestly why I go to the gym, because I read a book a long time ago and it said, be the type of person that you are attracted to. And I don't know if I wholeheartedly believe that, but the gym has brought me a lot of self-confidence. It's brought me a lot of things that have made me who I am today. So I love going to the gym and I think that it's great. So I find that this person should probably just find his tribe basically and put himself out there more in different areas, in different arenas.
Absolutely. Great advice. Like we said, we are here for you as always. To our live audience, I put a link in our comment section produced by Straight Up Gay Porn, where they asked the question, out of these, who took the best picture of the week? It's adult performers, and it's 13 gay porn stars asking who took the best photo of the week. And it's our job on an audio podcast, because this is how this gets disseminated tomorrow, to vividly describe why we picked the one we picked. And you can always go to tagspodcast.com. I will have the link on there. Go to Straight Up Gay Porn, and you can vote there as well. And at the end of the year, they vote for the Thirst King. Who is the Thirst King? And it's kind of a fun competition that we love to go along the whole year and talk about. But Kodi, who did you pick and why?
Well, my vote goes to this week, Jake Daniel and Damian Knight. You know I'm an ass man, and this has two pleasantly plump, delicious-looking asses in this picture. They are in somebody's kitchen. I don't know who. It might be Jake Daniels. It might be Damian Knight. It might be
very modern kitchen, I would say.
It's beautiful, right? And it's clean. There's no socks on the floor or anything like that. So I'm really appreciative of that. They're both standing completely naked, with their asses to the camera, and they're looking straight into the camera, and it's just ass central. So that's why I'm in love with it. So
yeah, I would say good pick. I'm always a little bit confused on the couple pictures. Like, are they a couple? And you explained to me, no, they just probably fucked, and that's why they're in this picture, and that's not the criteria. But I'm always like, oh, are they a couple? But I would agree with you. This is a Ass Wednesday, a hump day, and this is giving us double trouble, double hump. So I give them that. I also like, in a really good ass pick, if you can show that really curve in the lower back. They are both serving that, and they're both looking into the camera. So I give you that, and good pick. I went with the final choice in the selection, and it's by your name, Kodi, but he's Cody. Kodi Saya, and I just love his look in general. First of all, he has these. Did he just come all over himself? Is that what he's doing in the picture? Yeah, and it's all, but it's glistening, and he has this really great Japanese tattoo on his right pec that I love it. He's got some really good tats. He's got a really nice dick that's really high up. He looks very confident. I love his thick eyebrows. I love the 8-pack or whatever he's rocking there, which looks really delicious. And I don't know. I like the background wall that he's doing this front. It's just like a confident, sexy picture. He gets my pick. And yeah, it's really fun stuff. Looks like Doug says Sin City Poppy. Let's see if we can find Sin City Poppy, since we have 2 minutes before we have to go. What is?
I think it's further down.
I see him. Oh, yeah. Sitting on a couch with that huge dick. Yeah.
Got a beautiful chest tattoo. He's looking right in the camera.
Diego says King. Who's King? My fiance says King.
Not baby says. Aww.
He doesn't like. Oh, here he is. Oh, okay. King Louis is who he's voting for. He's number one. So yeah, he's got a really good pic of him sitting back, and the dick's like super high, and he looks like he's gooning out. So I see. Okay. Yeah, he's number one. So you picked well. Oh my goodness, so much fun. You can always follow us on social media. Follow Kodi on Instagram at Mr. Maurice, But it's also his Blue Sky account. Head over to Blue Sky and follow him at Mr. Maurice as well. Follow me on the gram. I am _Steve V. Or go to my X or Blue Sky account at Tags Podcast, where you get a preview of my Just for Fans and Only Fans. Don't forget to go to tagspodcast.com for show notes, and head over to our Tags Patreon community. Grab a tier, support Tags Podcast. You can head over to patreon.com Tags Podcast. And in the meantime, on this beautiful Wednesday night, continue having hot gay sex. Thanks, everyone. Have a beautiful, lovely rest of your week.